We'll just have to have our planning session later.
Says monitor during meeting, don't have to sit at the table, choose autocorrect.
Oh, choose correct video.
Oh, sorry.
So like, that's what we talked about with the video thing is, you can, but like honestly, choose one and leave it, like especially when you're being deputy clerk, don't be worried about flashing back and forth. I mostly do it just because like, my full-time job and it's kind of fun, but like during the council meeting, you just leave it on the council the whole time.
Perfect.
And then, so since I have the allow, like you saw it when we called in and didn't know it was us, it said allow into the waiting room. So if somebody tells you, like Lynn or Sean or Amy will tell you, if a council member wants to appear remotely, oh, Linda's coming in remotely, so you'll be watching, when does it say allow Linda into the waiting room? And you'll
What
just,
about general people?
normal people don't get the links, they view it on Facebook.
Okay.
So we don't have like
So
remote,
you're talking Zoom, not Facebook?
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
not Display.
yeah,
So we'll know ahead of time.
Facebook,
Yeah.
to anybody.
but like, so for that one, we had the attorney come remotely, like I knew he was coming, but I didn't know that he had shared the link with that other client, so all of a sudden it was like, this other person wants in, right?
So then how do you have to wait till they try to get in there, and then, so something will pop up?
Yeah, it's like this box that pops up and it says like, Bill has entered the waiting room, and you just say, like, allow to enter.
Okay.
And there should never be anybody entering that shouldn't be in, I just,
Thank you.
Sure.
I just, like, that way people don't just, like, crash it all the time, I don't know. But yeah, just basically, and if you're doing it, or if somebody's gonna Zoom in to present to council, obviously it's gonna be on the TV, right? Because otherwise council can't see them. So like, a big box will pop up on the TV and be like, somebody's kind of small, but it's like as big as this.
To go back to, if they say council person this and, so two people are gonna Zoom in, what if another person does it, we have no idea who it is?
I guess it just allows them. I mean, cause nobody shares, like, I don't post on the Zoom link, like, wanna come talk to city council, join the Zoom and like, Zoom bomb us.
Can we cut them out?
We
If
can.
somebody gets in there and starts out of control?
Yeah.
But
You can go
honestly,
over to the site here and it will give you a chat box and
Okay.
stuff like that, so, yeah.
I mean, if we have to kick someone out, you'll have to like figure it out, I've never had it. But we don't publicly, I literally, no one gets that Zoom link. The only reason we really do Zoom is because it's a very effective way to get to Facebook. And like, it just all ties it together, and one time, Heiser needed to come remote. But, you know, one council person's sick, so she might wanna Zoom in and not be here. She's been to all the meetings, so I doubt it. But it's more like a theoretical remote attendance than reality. And Stephanie can get all this, that's why I prefer is, probably get the Zoom link,
Okay.
because she uses Zoom all the time with interviews, as you know. Okay, do you guys feel like you know what you're doing? Well enough with both of you? Okay, well, if you guys have any suggestions on the, you can either type them in or whatever. Like, or if afterwards you're like, I think we should actually change, like, integrate these two in the right order, like, I'm probably up for that, I just needed to write it down.
Yeah. How much time do you give yourself?
Well, if I'm being a dork, which I usually am, because I'm running around like a crazy person, it's like 15 minutes, but that's pretty flexible.
Yeah.
Because then if something goes wrong, well, that was without having to haul this thing over, that adds like, you know, like trying to make all the cords reach,
Yeah.
because the cords, like literally, this is the only place in the council chamber that both of those cords reach.
I mean, so early is okay, 'cause I would rather kick back to 15 minutes being done.
Yeah.
than frantic.
Yeah, don't be like me, don't be like me. Well, and then also we'll have stuff during the normal council meeting that she's getting ready, right, like putting out agendas and putting out candy and.
Yeah, I didn't know that was part of the job description.
You should tell them you get a bonus.
Yes.
I told you you didn't have to do it, you just wanted to be nice.
You get a hold of Danielle to get a key, just in case, right,
To,
the door.
yeah, all department heads are supposed to have a key to the door,
Yeah, I just,
so, just nobody
there's just a million different keys, and I got one for golf course this, one for that, and just, we couldn't find Dan's set anywhere, so, I just don't wanna be given 20 keys and have to try to figure it out.
Yeah.
Baby step.
Well, and like, we don't be here, like, usually people are here, so,
So I could,
it was just really bad luck that one time, that I didn't know that, honestly, if I don't have to leave, I just have the doors stay open, because it stresses me out that the doors are locked, and I'm gonna forget to unlock them.
I mean, sometimes if I'm the only one here, they'll lock them for me and then I'll just unlock them if she's gone or something like that, and I'm just saying I'm not gonna go home.
Oh, like, we lock them at 5 if there's no
Yeah.
meeting, obviously, like, they get locked at 5, even if there's 10 people in the building. But on a meeting night, and all these meetings start at 5, 3 of them start at 5 and one starts at 5:30, so you're not gonna have,
We should be fine.
Yeah,
like, you'll be here at like 4:30 to get ready.
Yeah, there's gotta be no locking of the doors.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe half an hour, maybe a little bit or more, because the first night is also a council meeting night, and like food's getting delivered that day. So April 6th should be a lot of hoo-hoo-hoo.
on the food note, somebody else will take care of that, and I
It's all
can let it
done.
go.
Linville Court, like,
It's in this room right here.
Yeah, it's gonna be there. We've already picked out the people who are going to be delivering, so we just need to confirm with them. Them to be delivered.
Good job.
Yeah, we're being picked up.
Okay.
We have to pick it up.
No, I require delivery.
Yeah, I think, well, Martin.
If they can't do delivery, we're not hiring from them. We don't have to have them pick up food and start a meeting.
But anyways, the food will be next door. I'll just have bottled water and it will be cold. And if you want something else, you're just gonna have to bring something else from your room if that's okay.
Yeah, I would just want for like setup if we had to do anything in here.
No, the food will be in there, and we pick things that, it'll be easier to slow down.
Well, and we're getting food for 20, it's not like every department has it, and then, I mean, there's probably a store like barely, but.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Okay, good, did you?
So right there, thank you for diving.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a couple actually, you can have the old one too, if you really wanna look
Oh,
at
no,
it.
because I'm.
You sure you don't want that one?
I'm sure,
All right.
so, thank you, Jason.
You bet.
Hi, Myra.
Hi, Myra, I'm Sherry Fergal with the Children's Advocacy Project.
Oh, wonderful, how
Yeah,
nice to meet you.
I'm super early.
You are, because you're not even first, are you?
No, but I thought if I just get here and then.
You could be ready to go, right?
Exactly, so.
So, I think this year, I don't know if you presented before, but I think we're gonna allow the people to come sit at the tables if they want and talk to council.
Okay,
Just because it gets kind of crowded with all the plexiglass and
oh, I see.
the speakers, so.
I only, gosh, not last year, I don't think anyone kind of did any
Yeah, because of COVID.
COVID, yeah. But the year before, I saw, yeah, they were up at the podium, or the stand.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
group
we
are you with?
Children's Advocacy Project through, Casper, yeah. Yeah. Actually, I was supposed to testify a couple of weeks ago, and it all just went away.
Anyway,
All right.
thank you, sir.
Have fun. Yep.
Good
Thank
job.
you.
I'll see you in the morning.
Yeah.
We can do this again if we need, oh, are we zooming in Danielle tomorrow?
I don't know, I didn't hear.
If we are, then you can do it all tomorrow. This is all the same thing. How are you?
Good, how are you? Sure. Thank you.
Hi.
How are you?
Are you guys first?
I am, yeah.
You can go ahead and take a seat at the table.
And we're second.
And you're second, okay? So you can,
Go ahead and.
because of, there's like not very good space at the podium with all the plexiglass. So we're just leaving the front table free for you guys to sit at.
Hi, Teresa.
How are you? And I'll look at my schedule, so I can actually know who's supposed to go first.
I'm doing, oh, it's going, how are you?
Good.
Yep, that's how I feel, yeah. You know what? That's the way so.
Hello, Councilman Dirk, how are you? I'm well, how are you? Good.
Myra,
Yes, ma'am.
do you know if we get a +1 for this, or?
I do not know. Can I find out for you?
No. I just.
I mean, I could just text him with that.
You do get new glasses.
I just didn't, no contact.
Oh.
Oh.
I'm like, something's up here.
I mean, I love everybody here, but wasn't worth a pair of contacts.
That's how I felt about my outfit.
nope,
Not too bad.
no way, man, 20 years on call, I'm done. Give you an offer, but nope.
You're on call for 20 years?
Yeah. When I ran the medical, oxygen. 24-hour on call.
How are you?
Believe it.
I love your.
Yeah, that's tough, it's hard to get used to.
So I'm over it. Every time the snowstorm comes in, I look at it, oh, I'm glad I switched call this week.
It's pretty interesting people. The one really barely was,
I really hope
the hardest part about it, he said, you want something to drink? I said, yeah, I can tell, the other guy was so cool with that. So,
This is a great.
Oh, there you go, there you go.
Which is weird, cause I mean, soda pop, isn't it, like, I've always heard of the soda pop.
but he didn't know what it was.
So I just find it, to me, there's no separation, right? It's like, it's a soda pop and somebody shortens it, but.
Well, when I went through basic training, one is sody,
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, kind of is, They say something, I say something.
Yeah, well, we read that all together, I can't even think of the other exact, doesn't make it.
Are we expecting that up?
Yeah.
Or is it not?
That's also the part where you just have a limited amount of people that are registered.
It looks to me like, these are like 10-minute times you can get. So I'm getting the impression this is just about them just coming out talking and sitting
Telling us
down.
what they want the money.
Like literally, we're not engaging, we're not.
That's what I.
I have been through these up little. This one here, they're asking
You,
Did you go anywhere this week, right?
that was it.
You were. I think myself, when I was.
And actually, I think tonight,
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it's 6:02, and check if you guys need anything, we're ready.
No, okay.
Like our people are here.
Hey, Mr. Mayor,
I worked for the
do you have, if you're comfortable to say, I would like to see if you were comfortable to say something like, I know this has been kind of a turmoil, pluses and batters, over years, to be working together. I don't, we're not, in other words, I don't want us to feel the animosity of the past. Like, we're honestly working together here, right? Just, if you feel comfortable to do that, if not.
All right, it's, 6:03, and I'll call this meeting to order. It's gonna be fast and furious. You're gonna get a few minutes to, like 10 minutes or whatever, to, tell us about, your request, and, then we will go from there, and I'm glad you all are here. Our intentions is to, let you know we do appreciate everything you guys do, and without all the services that all of you on this list provide, we would live in a completely terrible place to live, to be honest with you. So, thank you so much for your work. I'm gonna tell you that ahead of time, and let's get going with the Boys and Girls Club.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. So last year was a challenge for all of us, as we navigated an area that we weren't familiar with. Tons of Zoom meetings, to curbside activities, to curbside mail. At the Boys and Girls Club, we opened up in June of 2020. We were the lifeline for essential workers. Me. And of course, systems for young youth. We became navigators and kids started back to school. Some of them had no connections with people. So, and we also took up in the fall. We had a support system in place, because most of the kids were survivors. We had one family, and I'll tell this story. She was so isolated during this pandemic that it was just a mom and herself. They came from Vienna, came to the club. She broke down in tears. But the first time she had interaction with anybody for 6 weeks. There were some stories I'm sure we got stories to tell. We've also, when we opened, we realized that some of our kids lack social and emotional skills. Some of them lack that enrichment skills, So we provide sports activities, we provide volunteerism. So some of our members, especially our high schoolers, are volunteers. We have junior volunteers that start 13. To give them an idea of what a volunteer is, we go through the interview process with them. Some of them stay on to be our employees. So right now we have, I never even call them employees, but I'll pass this around. These are our employees. As you can see, most of them are high school students. Some of them go on to become our teachers. We had one who, was able to succeed and obtain the Gold Standard Award from the University of Wyoming, who's doing his degree as a teacher. He wants to go back to Rollins to do his, internship. He'll be back there in the fall. Since we opened in June, we've served 126 members. Of those members, 30 of those are our high school students. They come to us through the noon hours. This gives them a safe place to be. They're not skipping class, they're going back to the school. So, and the teachers really enjoy the fact that we are open during the noon hour for them. We have 22 from single families that come to us. 13% of these members qualify for free reduced lunch. We have 5 family members on scholarships at this time. So if you look in the packet, I did provide some of our financials. From January to March, on our first page, right now we're sitting in a deficit of $32,000. We do have in reserve, in our checking account, that'll allocate us to use operational for at least 3 months. I did increase our dues last year because I did see a shortfall. So right now it costs $300 for the first child and $250 for the second child. And that's per semester. So our semesters are run from fall, from September to December, spring semester from January to May, and then we have a summer session, which is around 8 to 9 weeks. We do have an endowment fund that's basically used for our graduating high school seniors. So what we do is we give them at least a little stipend this way, going off to college. Do you have any questions for me?
Does anybody have any questions? Jacqueline?
Why did you ask for less money this year?
Not sure where the city's gonna stand. I mean, we're all facing the same predicament. We don't know what the future's gonna bring.
Are there any other questions? Councilman Weisenberg?
Total funds and reserves for, the 21-22 shows $134,191. Is that just, what you have from like COVID relief funds, stuff like that from not being open and?
You're talking about my savings?
Yes.
That one basically, we did that one, we started that one is, when people do credit card payments, that goes straight to our savings account. This is our last fundraiser that we did 2 years ago, went to our savings account. This is the reserve that we have in place in case we do have to close doors or things. I did have to tap into it last year when COVID hit, because I had to make payroll before I applied for the PC payroll protection. And I'm happy to say I kept my staff on working minimal hours, but I did keep them active.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Councilman Smith?
Where do the bulk of your funds come from to, keep your program
Right now, we have 21st Century Learning Center funds, that's our, who is Wyoming Department of Education, that's where both of our funds come from.
Any other questions? Teresa, I would like to say I really appreciate what you do. I've been up there, I couldn't do it. It's too stressful. I hope too gropey. But I do appreciate what you do, and you do bring a lot of really good to our community, and you help a lot of parents, and the children are amazing. So, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Our next group will be the Carbon County Child Development Program, and we'll let you introduce yourself and tell us all about yourselves.
Thank you, Mayor Wycombe and City Council members, for allowing us time to present tonight in person. My name is Mindy Munson-Green, and I'm the Executive Director for Carbon County Child Development Programs, and that's a Head Start program. Also representing CCCDP tonight is Denise Clark. She's our fiscal officer. She's handing out the handout, and then, behind me I have a board member, our vice president, Lee Nation, here as well. I always like to start my presentation with a little history. I'm gonna keep it real brief, because I find it important to tell as many people as I can. In 1964, President Johnson declared the war on poverty, and there are new members here, so I gotta tell the story again. And so, by 1965, a program, an 8-week summer pilot program that was called Project Head Start, was created. And your very own Rollins Head Start was one of the pilot programs. So we've literally been here for 56 years in our community, serving families and children. So I always like to brag that up, you know, you have to. One of the things that looks different about Head Start than other preschools, we're federally funded. The requirements are insane. You follow requirements through state, county, city, that we follow so many requirements that have to be done. But what makes us look so different is that we provide comprehensive services. So we have about 29 to 31 staff members at any given time throughout the year, and we have that many because of the comprehensive services. So we have all these areas of Head Start that we have requirements in. So we have family services, nutrition, health, education, special education services, mental health services, administration. We have a lot of areas that requirements that we follow. The area I want to talk about tonight is nutrition, and I gave you guys a handout on our nutrition program. We are able to provide a breakfast, a lunch, and a snack to our children in Head Start, and we have full-day classrooms. Not all Head Starts are already doing full-day classrooms. It will be required soon. We've been doing it for years because the community needed the child care for a full day instead of half day. And so we changed that immediately. As soon as we could, we changed to full day. On here, it gives you an idea of the requirements of CACFP, and it just kind of shows you what a breakfast needs to look like, what a lunch needs to look like, and what a snack needs to look like. And I gave you our menu items for the 29th and the 30th, so you can see what our meals look like. It's actually what was on our menu. We do $1.80, we're reimbursed from CACFP, $1.89 for breakfast, $3.51 for lunch, and then 96 cents for a snack. CACFP requires us to try our hardest to provide fresh. So we want fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, fresh food. And we can't always get that here, but when we can, it's very costly. So we are about $1,000 on the average every month, $1,000 less than what CACFP will reimburse us. And so that's the request for the $9,000 for 9 months through the school year. I will tell you, you gave us $11,500 last year, and I wanted to let you know we're so thankful you did, because I asked for $9,000, but then COVID hit. And what happened to CACFP is that there's no children sitting in a chair in the classroom. So with CACFP, we have to count how many children we're actually feeding and report that way. So when kids are being served virtually, that changed things. We weren't getting the money from CACFP, but the food demand was still there. So we're able to use the extra funds you gave us, and the funds you gave us in general to give food packs. We did 2-week food packs for families that needed it, and we did that every 2 weeks. So our family services staff were able to go do all that, what we could find for them, and do that, and provide that. So this year I'm asking you for the $9,000, again, because that's really what I can justify as $9,000, is what we actually need to make sure that we can keep feeding our children, well, the way we can show you on here what it looks like. Are there any questions?
Councilman Durst?
So actually, I have 2 questions. The
Yeah.
first one, so it sounds to me like basically what you're saying is that, very, very specifically, the money that you need is just to supplement the food. I mean, you've got it allocated.
I can tell you where it's going.
This is exactly the way
Yes.
it is, okay?
This is exactly where it's gonna go, and it's, I mean, you can't get any better than food. We need to provide it, it's a need.
I can attest to that, yes. And then, my second thing was, I thought, didn't you bring us little snacks last time?
I
I feel like
did.
we're getting,
I wanted to, I tried, it's
look
COVID.
at, I've got candies up here, right?
They told me to bring you a meat and cheese tray, and I'm like, nope, it's COVID.
I will point out, Councilman Durham, fresh candy.
But next year, hopefully I get to bring you a snack.
I would hope so.
Councilman Weisenberg?
Yeah, I just, with the, only asking for 9,000 and not that extra 2,500 into that. Do you perceive to see anything in the future of having to shut back down if there's an outbreak, that you would need extra for that?
So we didn't shut down, we were able to stay open the entire time, and also provide a summer school boot camp. And so the school district actually partnered with us and provided the food for us there, because, you know, CACFP doesn't do that. So, the community is just the support system we needed, 9,000. We hope we're not going to see the same. Unfortunately, I think the needs are going to be bigger in the next few years for families, and I'm just guessing, but I have a feeling it's going to be, and food seems to be one of those things that we, are constantly helping families with. We also do, and I should have mentioned it, we have, some kiddos in our program, you see them, you know, they're the kiddo that wants to come in and they want to eat right away. They're asking for food immediately, you know. So we can sneak little food packs in their backpacks for them for the weekend, and that also comes out of the money you give us. So any of those little sneaky snack packs, we'll put in the backpack for kids and just kind of let them know you got some food in your backpack for the weekend, so that they have that.
Also, I guess, I know you're tied to the Saratoga, is this funds just for Rollins? or
Just
is
for
it-
Rollins.
Okay.
Yep, just for Rollins.
Okay.
Yep, I just wanted to let you know, we had 80 kids,
Yeah.
and it looks funny when I say we only have 66, you know, in Rollins, but we have 66 here, so we do 66 kids in Rollins.
Councilman Smith?
Mindy, your program is also one of those programs that need to show community match, is that correct?
Yes.
And this would go towards that match?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
20%.
Anybody else? Thank you, ladies. Oh, I'm sorry.
Will you be serving hot dogs this summer?
Yeah, starting on the 8th. We hope so, yes.
Yeah.
Not for Head Start, we can't do that, but for music and
Yeah.
We need that fundraiser, yeah, so. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate what you do. All right. The next, organization we'll hear from is Carbon County Cove. Hi.
I think she's gonna have to file it. Okay.
I know, that wasn't too far.
Nothing anymore.
All right, go ahead.
So my name is Jennifer Evans, I'm the Executive Director with Carbon County Cove. This is Jody Mayfield, she is our Direct Services Advocate. There are only 2 of us in the office, so our workload is increasing, just 2 people, and a lot more, victims to serve. So most of you know, that we are a domestic violence, sexual assault and stalking, organization. We help, victims, men, women, with emergency services. We are the only service provider, to, provide emergency services to individuals who do not wish to, report to law enforcement. We are the only safe house in Carbon County, so we only have 1 shelter. And Jody, she's also our safe house manager, office manager. She wears a lot of hats. But on average, our program serves about 65 to 75 clients per, fiscal year. It is increasing. We provide a wide range of services, including victim advocacy, support, crisis intervention, safety planning. We have a 24-hour crisis hotline. We provide emergency financial assistance. as well as transportation, accompaniment to medical and court, services. We have a bank of donated clothing and household items, and we provide, referrals to counseling and support groups, to community, state, and national resources. Our biggest need right now, because of the budget cuts, we had about a $23,000 budget cut this last, grant cycle. And our biggest need would be client assistance. We got cut about $7,000 of our client assistance money, and right now we probably have about $350 left of that to last us until July. So that is our biggest need. Right now, we are cutting back on some of our, expenses as far as, moving locations to a smaller building, where we will have less rent, than what we're paying right now. So we are taking those steps. We look forward to enhancing our community, collaborations and our fundraising efforts to help with the cost of keeping our doors open.
You have a big job, and
Yeah.
probably one of the more necessary ones in our town, and, I really appreciate what you do. Is there anybody with any questions? Councilman Smith?
Yes, I would like to know, just a ballpark figure about how many people you feel you've increased over the last 6 months,
Over the last 6 months.
percentage-wise, I mean.
Yeah. Probably about, about 15, 20. Yeah, and we do have a lot of, returns, a lot of people that come back and come, use our services, utilize our services quite a bit. But this last year, we've had a lot of new individuals that have come to us. It's people that aren't from the community, that are coming here, that are moving here. A lot of them out of Hannah. Housing is so inexpensive in Hannah that they're just going to Hannah and then they're needing our services. And a lot of it's time assistance, help with rent, and they're just so isolated, being out there in the outlying communities, counseling. Here, we try to get them here to where, rent is a little bit more inexpensive, but the waiting lists are super long to get them into housing and apartments. We only have one low-income, apartment complex here, so the waiting list is super long. So our shelter has been utilized very much recently.
Thank you.
How many apartments are in the shelter? So how many can you house in here?
So we can house about
6 comfortably.
6 comfortably, yeah. We have, it's a 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom. And there's 2 kids' rooms, so we have two twin-size beds, and then 2 of the rooms, we have queen-size beds, so.
With a crib.
Yeah, we have a crib. We just had two individuals in the shelter over the weekend, so, and that's been a while since we've had, multiple people in there. It is increasing.
Any other questions? I guess you did well.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And again, thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
We do appreciate it. All right. We're actually running a couple minutes ahead of time, which is awesome. The next group we'll hear from is the Carbon County Economic Development Corporation. So I'll turn it over to Yvonne.
Hi. Thank you, council and mayor. So you probably know that I am new to economic development. I've been here for about 7 months. And so, I understand your funding that you have been, we received $15,000 last year. So me being new and coming in right at the middle of the year, I am still learning and the dynamics of how, our organization is running. So all I reported is what I have done in the, 6 months that I've been here. So, prior to me getting here, as you can see, and Tammy Mortensen is a board member, and if you have any questions about the awarding of the micro grant, she can give you those details. But, I am then just really right now, just really concentrating on traveling the county and making new friends, listening to what is the needs of our communities and our municipalities around the county, which, as you know, we have 11 of them. Your funds help pay for me to be able to do this travel, as well as pay for my wages and keeping our operations, office operations and going. I don't know what, I think that I pretty well laid everything out on my report. So why don't I just if you have any questions to me.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Yvonne, I guess my question to you, we've talked a lot about what we could do for economic development within the city. So if I were to ask you, what is the number one thing that economic development could do to help the city of Rollins, what would you say? What we could do is, the main focus of what I have been focusing on is listening to all the business and community people that are here of how to help sustain and maintain their business, especially after going through the pandemic. And that has been, from what I just came from a training actually this last week in Torrington, and it's the same thing, I think it's statewide, as economic development, that we really not focus on what we can bring in right now, but to help those that are in business currently and to help keep them going.
I've been to several meetings with you, Yvonne, and I don't know if anybody else even knows this, but you've been very active and you've helped try to get, partnerships going throughout the town and throughout the county, and, even though we were kind of unsuccessful getting the restaurant tour, I did appreciate you setting up that meeting, and, I guess we'll call it a near miss, but,
don't rule them out.
the only way to fail at what you're doing is to quit trying, and you're trying very hard, and I do really super appreciate that.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions or comments?
Councilman
Weisenberg?
Yeah, can you explain that, the micro grant program a little bit?
I wasn't directly involved in issuing, any of the, payments directly, but what it was is, economic development has some funds set aside for a program. We didn't have a program earmarked, but because of the situation that COVID, put a lot of our small businesses in, or any business per se, we felt that our goal as Carbon County Economic Development was to do whatever we could to help. Typically, it's always been to bring new businesses in, but we needed to help sustain and help these businesses survive. So we, had an emergency meeting, we all got together, decided on the dollar amount of $2,500, and we said, you know, we've got X dollars, the $88,000 is what we had earmarked. We had no idea that we would, go through those funds that quickly. We did have an application, it's not to be repaid, but this was something, I've been on economic development for several years, off and on, and it just made my heart feel good that we were able to do something, instead of always having your hand out, what, you know, will you buy our widgets, we're trying to raise money for whatever it might be. And clients were so appreciative. One requirement, not requirement, but suggestion that we had in there is, if in the future, any business that we were able to assist, if they would please keep Carbon County Economic Development on their radar, if things should pick back up, either to, refund or repay the loan, the grant slash, or, be a member, help us to help more people. But I think it was a huge success, and honestly, I mean, lots of businesses, not just in Rollins, but throughout the whole county. It was wonderful to finally be able to give back instead of always asking for something.
Awesome. Anybody else? Thank you, ladies. We appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
Ready? All right, next on the agenda is the Carbon County Senior Services.
Just kind of got one of our most recent newsletters, and kind of see what we have going on currently. Try not to go over this cord. Good evening, Mayor Wycombe and City Council members. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Lisa Nystrom, and I am the Executive Director of Carbon County Senior Services. I oversee all 8 senior centers in Carbon County, with our largest one being the one here in Rollins. It's been a crazy year, and I'm gonna try to get through this without tears, because it chokes me up every time I talk about it. But, here we go. My apologies. We went from working really hard to grow all of our programs to having people in our centers from 8 a.m. until some nights 10 p.m., people playing cards, to, as of last March 17th, nobody in the center other than staff. And even that was a bit minimal at times, if we had people out with COVID. So, you know, we all pulled together to focus and to brainstorm and just try to pivot and try to figure out how can we stay engaged. Stay engaged with all of our people. You know, it's really important. We were very worried about their mental health, you know, being stuck at home, not seeing people. You know, we deal with that high-risk population. So, we developed curbside meals, so anybody that ate in the center could either then have the option of curbside meals, or they could go on our home delivery program. Typically, with our federal grant, to be on the home delivery program, you have to qualify, because they would rather have the people in the center getting that socialization. But of course, with COVID, that wasn't gonna happen. So the federal, the feds opened up where anybody could qualify for home delivery, and then they allowed us to implement the curbside delivery program. So that's what we did. So, all of us, you know, gals, we would put our coats and hats on, and we were standing outside on the curb at front and center, handing out meals to, it started out with about anywhere from 20 to 45 people picking up meals a day. And that dwindled a little bit as the summer went on. And then we gained, pre-COVID, we had about 80 people on home delivery, and that jumped to a little over 100. So we had new people come on the program who had never utilized any of our services prior to COVID. But since they couldn't go to the store, couldn't go out to eat, you know, they needed to find a way to get fed. We also started handing out craft activities in Ziploc bags. My activities director, Jackie Craig, worked tirelessly putting together bag after bag after bag of craft activities, pouring paint in cups
whatever, whatever we needed to do, to find a way, once again, to stay engaged and give those folks something to work on. She put together puzzle packets, crosswords, word searches, Sudoku, all those things. And we started making comfort calls to everybody twice a week. Not only our home delivery, but the people who used to come in the centers also. And so that's really what we did for months, just trying to stay engaged. Then right after Labor Day, we opened up partially with very limited, one person per table. Couldn't go up and get your own food, it had to be brought to you, all of those things, following all of the state guidelines and orders. And then our numbers kind of exploded in the county, so right before Thanksgiving, the largest day we had since we've been open was the last day we were open again until February 1. And then we opened back up, and things are going well. We're easing up on some of our restrictions so that we have a couple more people per table. We brought in some of the craft activities back, they have to sit more people per table, wear their masks, all of the things. I think we brought back all of the activities with the exception of the activities where everybody has to touch the same things, like cards and dominoes. I think those are really the only two maybe that are not happening yet. We even brought back bunco because we had enough dice so everybody can have their own dice and they don't have to share the dice. So we're working really hard to get everybody back in. We had a couple of cases when we opened back up in September that we really realized the need for us to work hard to get back open. A couple of our people, their first time they came in, their mobility was very weakened. They were shaky and slow, just trying to get in off the bus and get into their table. And within 2 weeks, we saw the biggest difference in just them getting off the bus and coming in and looking happy and cheerful and a little bit of pep in their step. So we really realized how important it was. And so that's kind of what this last year has been like for us. As you can see, we're asking for, last year we asked for the 15,000 and we got the extra, which we were so very grateful for because our expenses increased a lot with all of the to-go boxes and to-go containers. So that came at a great time. We are just asking for the 15,000 again this year. We're really hoping that we'll see those extra expenses decrease even more. We still have some people utilizing curbside service. We still have some of those extra folks on home delivered, but we're seeing more and more coming back into the centers, and so some of those to-go expenses decrease a little bit every week. So that's where we're at. Any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I do have a comment. My wife went up a couple times and picked up meals at the drive-up, and under the circumstances, you guys did an amazing job. I worked in a nursing home when I was a kid, and I had to quit because I got tired of losing grandparents. They do become family, you get attached to them, I can tell that's what you're going through. It's an awesome thing that you feel that way. My mother, one time asked me, my sisters were like, she won't go to the senior center. I said, Mama, why won't you go to the senior center? Well, I don't want to be around all them old people. Well, so one day she called me and said, what do you want for Christmas? And I said, if I tell you, will you promise to get it for me? And I could hear fear in her voice, because she's thinking Corvette, And I said, I want you to go to the senior center with Aunt Loretta, I mean. So she did, and then my sisters called me, how in the world did you get her to go, and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I didn't tell them, I blackmailed her, and, my mother called at the end of that, and she said, well, did you enjoy your Christmas present? And I said, did you have fun? How did it go? She saw all of her old friends, and it changed her life, and, anyway, that's what you do, thank you.
Thank you. It just takes getting them in the door one time.
Yeah,
That
Mom
can be the hardest.
she passed since, but she was a regular after that, and don't tell my sisters. You can't, they're dead. Linda?
I just wanted to say personally, been up there just for my COVID shots, but I think it's a wonderful place, you do a great job.
Thank you.
And I do feel that, without it, our seniors would not do as well in our community. So I just wanted to thank you for all the work you do,
Thank you very much.
and taking care of me when I was there too.
I did want to say that Lisa worked really, really closely with us during the initiation of the COVID vaccines. And we vaccinated a lot of people through their centers, and believe me, it was a huge asset, and the people were comfortable there and happy there, and it went really well.
That was one of the things that we, once again, helped us realize. The people were like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in, months. And they were, wanting to hug their friends. And you see them like hesitate, like we're not supposed to hug, but they just, and they would stay and visit, and it's that, once again, it was another one of those.
15 minutes.
Yeah, I called it their 15-minute detention, and they would serve longer detention, just to be able to visit with their friends. And it was another one of those times where we just really realized the importance of doing what we can to get them in the centers as much as possible, and yet keeping them safe and healthy as much as we can.
Anybody else? Again, thank you for what you do, and, keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. All right, the next, organization that we'll hear from is the Carbon County Youth Crisis Center Cathedral Home, for Children. Hi.
Hello. Those of you that don't know me, my name is Ashley Milliken. I'm with the Carbon County Youth Crisis Center. I'm the coordinator there, and I've been there for about 2 years. Been a working challenge, I think, with the year that we've had this past year, and I think that, things are improving, and I am very thankful for that and for our community pulling together in times of need. Last year was, I think along with a lot of others in our community, was very, difficult, just based on our numbers and the intakes and things going on in the home, with school being, more virtual, with, kiddos, not having as much structure, I should say. So I think our numbers fluctuated a lot throughout the year. And so, with that being said, last year we served a total of 58 individuals. Some of those individuals, came back to the crisis center, several times, in and out. We've provided, respite care for foster families. We've provided respite care for, to allow kiddos to come home on visits to see their families from residential treatment facilities and, whatnot. 91% of those, of that population was in Carbon County. The others are, we had a short, 5% that was out in Wyoming, but in other counties that we pulled together, just for example, the reservation, or if we had a kiddo that was transitioning to, live with parents who kind of, their communities didn't have, a safe housing for them, we provided that. The last 4% would be from out of state. So they're typically what we saw were runaways from, different states that we kind of house until we could provide a safe roof over their head until they can get home and get the appropriate level of care. We had some really, really exciting news this year that happened, in February. Effective February 1st, we came and we had been working with, the state for the last couple of years, working on a contract, which would be a block funding contract. And so what that block funding means is that, before we were operating more on a per diem rate, and so that the ways that we would get our funding was, group home beds, and how, if DFS would have to get them court ordered to a group home bed, we would receive an allotted amount, which was a per diem rate. With our numbers fluctuating, that, can not give us as much stability. So the exciting news is that this block funding grant allows us that stability, with the state to be given a block amount of funding. But also, what's the most exciting part that I'm excited about is that we no longer need a court order in order to have these kids in these group home beds. And in these group home beds, we're allowed to provide more of the therapeutic, needs behind, whether we can advocate to get them a higher level of care, or, just appropriate counseling that they need, things like that. And so it really excites me because there's a lot of kiddos that we work with at the crisis center that, could use our services and that could use our group home services and not, we can be reimbursed for that. And when we get reimbursed for that, we're able to provide more for them. And so some of those services look like, helping parents with budgeting, helping the kiddos more with the family base. And it goes just back to our mission and our philosophy with Procedure Home is to restore hope and build futures for these kiddos. And sometimes it's not just the kiddo, it's the family that needs the help. And so being able to give back to those families in need it's super exciting to me. And with COVID, I think that it has put a lot of dampers on, the legislature and the state and all the state budget cuts. So we foresee that with the state budget cuts, even though we were allotted this block funding grant, we anticipate we're gonna see a loss just based on those, budget cuts with the state and, billing Medicaid and whatnot for our services. So, a lot of exciting things happening at the crisis center, and I'm really excited that this is an awesome opportunity to be able to serve the families that kind of fall through the cracks.
Anybody, Chris?
Yeah, actually, it shows, 58 intakes for the year 2020. Do you have an idea of what was 2019?
Yes, I do, actually. So in 2019, we had, 62 intakes as crisis. And then 12 of those were group home beds.
Do you have long-term, placement there?
We do, and that's more of what the group home bed is. The group home is more longer term, whether it's a step down from a residential treatment down to us transitioning that kiddo so that they're successful in the home with their family and vice versa. Making sure that that kiddo is getting the appropriate level of care, whether it's, psychotropic or if it's, that we work with the FS to just put things in place to get them to where they need to be.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? I just have something I'd like to say. I was county commissioner when that was built. Take a lot of pride in it. We had the same needs, but we were shipping these kids to Casper in the middle of the night on bad roads with a deputy they didn't know and so forth and so on, and I didn't see how that was serving the kids. And it has been extremely gratifying to know, and I used to have a business across the street, and I used to watch it daily, not stalking, but watching. And you guys have done a really good job. Thank God for the Cathedral Homes taking that over and and running that for our county. And I personally really appreciate the job you do. It's a much needed service right here in town, and you guys do a great job.
Yeah, I think I always say it's one of the hardest but most rewarding jobs that I've ever had. Just being able to see the look on those kiddos' face and, having those kiddos leave and then come back and just to say hi, it's very rewarding.
Yep, I bet it is. Anybody else? Well, thank you very much, and thank you for what you do. We really appreciate it. All right. We're running running just a little bit ahead of time, but as long as everybody's here, that's wonderful. The next group we'll hear from is the Children's Advocacy Project.
The Children's Advocacy Project, yes. I'm Sherry Bruno, and I'm very glad to be here. Thank you for letting us, present tonight. So I'll give you just a little bit about myself. I started at the Children's Advocacy Project about 2.5 years ago as a retired deputy sheriff. I went there to try to interview the children, and I can tell you it's a different interview from interviewing as a police officer to interviewing a small child who they don't really care what I'm saying. So it is quite a different thing for me. But after learning how to do it correctly, I have now done about 280 interviews myself. And for the county here, your county, we have done, this year, we've done 5. So the 2021 year, we've done 5. Last year, the 2020 year, we did 23, and in 2019, we did 5. No, 15, excuse me, 15. The need, as everyone I have heard, the need is going up, sadly. More child abuse is happening. The reason for our interviews is because there's some sort of abuse that has happened to the child, or that the child has seen domestic violence. We interview kids that are between the ages of 2, as long as they're verbal, and 18. However, we do interview vulnerable adults, which from your county, that I recall in the last couple of years, we have not interviewed a vulnerable adult, but in surrounding counties we have. And so our services are there for that as well. With the crisis of COVID, as I said, everything's going to be increased in numbers for all of the counties that are in Wyoming, and there's only 3 advocacy centers that I know of that do interviews for children of these ages, and one is in Cheyenne, one is in Jackson, and then the other is in Casper, where I'm from. So, actually, I just learned today that someone from your husband is one of the deputies that I've done an interview for, so I guess ask him how we do on a personal level. But not only do we do these, please.
I said he would say good.
Oh, okay.
On the law enforcement side.
Not only do we do these forensic interviews, which is just a conversation, a structured conversation with a child to try to elicit details from them that normally a grown person wouldn't want to talk about. We talk about some very intimate and adult details that, like I said, an adult would not want to share this information about. So for a child to feel safe enough to come to the facility and share these details, I think speaks loudly for our staff. We only have 6 staff. But not only do we do the forensic interviews there, we also have done over 500 per year, just counseling sessions. Sometimes those counseling sessions are with adults, but mostly they're done with the children of the trauma that they've either seen or witnessed or have had done to them themselves. We do follow up with the family. Sometimes it's just to see how they're doing or what other services we can provide. Sometimes it's just a follow-up back home to their communities to see what we can help offer them when they get home. And, some of these names, I don't know the people, but their names are very familiar because we referred them back, the families from your community back to their community. The names we just try to make sure that they know who to touch base with when they go back home, because the interview happens in Casper, we understand that they're not staying there, and we need to have other resources for them to go to that's local. So we have a victims advocacy that keeps in touch with the families to make sure that we can refer
them to an appropriate person. Also at the CAP Center, we do, education pieces. We do education pieces for, adults. We go into the school district, of course, for COVID reasons, we haven't been able to go there unless we try to Zoom it, which is hard to do at the school setting. But, we try to teach kids about their body, and they're the boss of their body, and it's kind of hard to teach children about that, especially when parents don't really want us to say those types of words to their children, so it's this hard fine line. But we do education services, we talk to coaches, and, we've done a Zoom class with the Women and, Children, the WIC program, through different communities, so that they could understand, maybe how to speak to their own children about body safety. So not only do we do all these interviews, we do provide these other services that I'm not sure that, we've ever touched base with you guys, if we've ever told you, I'm not sure, but I wanted to make sure today I told you those things. I feel like I'm forgetting a ton of things, but when you're sitting in the hot seat, it's hot.
There's no reason to feel that way.
Yeah, right,
We're
right.
friends.
Yeah. So.
Does anybody have any questions? I will say that I'm sad that you have to have a job
Yeah.
doing that, and
Yeah.
I've been around enough to know that your job is very necessary, and thank you for doing it, and like I said, I hope someday you'll be totally unemployed,
Well, I wish that would be the case.
honestly. Councilman Weisenberg?
Yeah, just reading here, in 2020 at 23, right, it says?
Yep, that's
And then
correct.
already in 2021, you said in the first 2 months, there's been 5,
Correct.
and that's Carbon County wide.
Carbon County wide.
So just an estimated, it's, 30 for the year, estimate off of that, 7 increased cases, right?
That's what I'm understanding, yes. So, I
Is
don't.
that, I don't know what information you're allowed to give on that, but how much of that is in our area right here in Rollins? Is that a?
Well, you know, 'cause Carbon County, obviously, I don't know if it goes to Hannah, I don't wanna show my ignorance, but I believe, okay, I believe when, you know, they've come over from Hannah at different times of the years, that I thought it was a Carbon County, sheriff's deputy that had come over. So, I don't know exactly if it's from your area per se, but when I say 5, I know it's Carbon County, I don't know that it means Rollins.
Okay,
Is what I know.
That's a big increase, though.
We're much ahead. Well, and I have to blame that on COVID, because you can imagine our reporters who, generally see the kids got to report when they went to school or when they went to daycare, but when all that shut down, they could not and did not have those reporters. So what we have found is that the, abuse that they were going through kind of seems, harsher and more long-term because of
No place to escape it because you cannot go to school.
You're right.
No,
Because a lot of
thank
these
you for
kids look at school as an escape,
100%.
and, when they weren't able to go, I can't imagine what has happened in the domestic area.
Right.
Across the board.
That will never go out, for that matter.
Yeah, and I'm hearing this from, person after person, so, yeah.
Any other questions?
Thank you for thanking me.
Thank you for what you do. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Sharon. All right.
You guys wanna keep going, you wanna have a break?
I need a quick break.
Okay, we'll take a break for, a few minutes until 7:20.
I do that all the time.
It's what you're
Well, and we do have some people here, so if you wanna just take a 10-minute break, we probably would.
Yeah, that's why I say take a break.
Yeah.
3 minutes.
I'm not sure how I did that, but I apologize.
I knocked them both off simultaneously.
How?
I don't know.
We're blaming Myra.
I'm not gonna.
Well, you can blame me, I feel like I'm
Alright.
Sometimes, like, when I go back
Oh,
and
I
listen to the
know.
audio, I'll like,
Oh, my
I need some sort of like,
Oh, I know.
you know what I tell Dale, is I
Our
say,
language is on.
yeah, that's the thing that happens.
Yeah.
I just tell my, he'll tell me that story and then, yeah.
Yeah, right there.
Well, I appreciate all of you.
Yeah.
I know I know one of your jobs, so, thank you so much.
Anyway, thank you guys for letting me come back.
Yeah. Yeah, how are you? Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, if you have extra, I try. Please feel free to. I'll have them in there, like, there's a confident advisor. Oh.
I'm thinking it'd be okay. It's the worst.
That's what I did.
The smallest? Yeah. I should have got out the smaller one, not the small phone, they.
Oh, yeah. Smart. It was this one.
Do you ever notice that some of these agencies,
So she had an ancillary partner 2 years ago, she did work on it, and I said, I just have to.
Yeah.
I gotta take a better picture of you.
Yeah.
We are still not muted.
It's just.
The annual report for what they do. It's a little outdated, but she asked you guys one, and I said, well, maybe just to get a better picture of you. They didn't print one last year.
Oh, for the gal that just.
Yeah, the children's advocacy.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw the numbers out there, like, that's a big increase.
I've been hearing that from my sources.
Well, I mean, it's a quick mathematical deal, two, like that, 2 months at 5, right? Like that, 12 months, 3 months, times 5.
now it's kind of everything. We use our 6-penny fund. Which I'm happy with that. But I always wonder why they call it Carlisle County. The county gets 0.
Yeah, what?
How much money they get from the other communities to their programs. This, they like to promote how great they're doing in Saratoga, but they don't talk about how much they're doing in some of these agencies. And they reach out to the different small communities.
Maybe we,
one board meeting. But I didn't want
how can we modify it? Yeah, for 2 things, right, to see what we match, and to see where the other 5 come from other communities around the country. Is that a possibility to get that back?
Well, we can, the other thing we can do is use it for
Yeah, that's what I'm curious.
I think, my wife can explain.
How are you? Yeah, no, of course, all.
They get zero money.
Yeah.
They reach out to these counties.
It's a great service, I mean, 100%, but when,
Gotta get some zero.
exactly, I see your point there. I think that's something maybe we could look into having in that package.
What are you looking at?
Well, I was telling them that.
Yeah, but if you look at that one, they give that one like 50 grand, that's a cathedral.
During the town project, you can talk.
I like it.
Sure,
I'm a very strong supporter of all these programs, but, I just wondered why isn't they choose?
I think,
The reason the city does.
you know, I think,
Everybody gets one.
I think we should look into having that on that, form.
Matter of fact, it's
I invited him to come here, but there's no, he was getting from us. There's
No, I agree, there's a few things where you just think,
I think it's something that we could look at that process, for sure, for next year.
yeah, there's a few of them where you wonder about that.
very odd,
Yeah.
Sure, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, I get, sure, I agree.
All right, call this meeting back to order, and the next, group to, or person, group, whatever, to, talk to us will be the High Country Behavioral Health. Mr. Patrick, how are you?
I'm fine, sir. Honorable Mayor and City Council, I appreciate the opportunity to present to you this evening. Over the last 5 years, I've come to you as the CEO of Carbon County Counseling, and today I come to you as the CFO of High Country Behavioral Health. As you may well know, we've been in existence for 52 years in Carbon County, and when I came on board in 2010, we saw an average of about 160 clients, both in mental health and substance use. So if you looked at the numbers that I gave you over the last 2 years, it went, last year it was 349, and this past year, actually the year before was 349, this past year was over 400. And we continue to see those numbers increase. Some of it was due to COVID. You know, we've seen an influx of people, utilizing those services, and I'm sure if you've been, aware and you've read anything on a national and state level, that's been a huge area of concern, for our legislators, lawmakers, is that the mental health, services are, extremely important at this time, with COVID, and we've seen the impact that it's had on many of our clients. One of the things I will tell you now that we are a part of a larger organization, obviously now our clients have more access to other services. We, now have the capacity, because of our, a new organization to, have a, psychiatrist, on the ready, as it were, so we're able to get clients in, and we've been seeing on an average, we only do it now, once a week, but we're seeing, 8 clients a week that now are able to access psychiatric care. You know, there are some advantages of being part of a larger organization, some disadvantages, but by and large, I think one of the things that, probably probably should be reiterated is all the other organizations that have come to you and seeking funding, we see a lot of their clients. You know, and that is something that sometimes is overlooked, but, we've also been informed that another one of our, competitors, Wyoming Recovery Crossroads is on the west end of town, are shutting their doors in April. So now we're going to be seeing a huge influx of possibility of all their clients coming to our facility. So, mental health and substance use is a, very important part of any local community and regional, area. But we're proud to say that we have had, a huge amount of influence of what has happened in our communities by providing the services that we do. And we continue to see the need for those services, and one of the things I will say, and I appreciate the city council for being, acknowledging the fact of the work that we do and providing us with, some of the financial supports that you have. So I appreciate that, and I, am certainly grateful that you've given us, this opportunity again to come to you, and hopefully we can continue on in that collaborative relationship. So thank you.
Councilman Wells, just first. Go ahead.
Have you guys heard, are you guys gonna be hit with state budget cuts?
Oh, yes, we are. We've actually already been told that. Our cuts, it's approximately, it's not quite 7%, and it has been retroactive, so we've actually already been going through the process of, reduction in force, and those are taking place. So yes, we have been hit, and it is, you know, it's a company-wide thing, and it's always difficult, it's challenging, but that's also part of the, you know, what we have to deal with on a regular basis. So yes, we have, received that. We have, unfortunately had to, minimize some of our staff. I will tell you that, those reductions, are not with our providers, and that is our clinicians and those people who do provide the services. Most of that has been done administratively, which is still difficult because we still have to run those facilities, and it's a challenge to say the least, but, you do what you have to do.
Councilman Martinez. I've been a strong supporter of the mental health program, because I understand a lot of the problems that we have in our community. But I guess I'm wrestling all the time with, the fact that you reach out throughout the county. I mean, this is just the Rollins area.
Right.
Why is it that the county isn't involved as much as the city is? I mean, they have more funding than we do.
You know, that's a good question, and I think probably, Mayor White could probably answer that better than I could, because he was in that position, but I know, they went through a, huge, reduction in terms of funding that they received, and I know this was even prior to when I came on board as CEO of Carbon County Counseling, and I know they were faced with a lot of, budget restrictions as well, and that was part of it. I mean, we would love, the county to be, a little more involved, obviously, but we also understand that that is sometimes, not in the cards, as it were. But, I know, years ago that the county was actively involved with our facility, and other facilities around the county, so, we'd love that to happen. Unfortunately, I don't get to make those rules, and, you know, I certainly wish that would be the case, but until that does happen, and if it does happen, I can promise you, I will be knocking on their door as well.
And I know it's been a long time coming. I've served on councils where they didn't recognize that as a big problem in the community, or for some reason. And it wasn't until the last few years that we decided that we're gonna start helping a little, whatever we can.
Right. Well, I think the part of it, Councilman Martinez, is the stigmas that still exist as it relates to mental health and mental health issues. You know, it's vitally important. I think a few years ago, I communicated to, some of the council that, mental health goes hand in hand with the overall wellness of your community. And I applaud the city council for recognizing that and realizing how vitally important it is to our community. And, it does have a trickle-down effect if you have a community that is not mentally well, you're going to see the impacts in your law enforcement, you're going to see the impacts at the hospital level, certainly at the jail level, you're going to see it, at the state hospital level. And that's one of the things that we're responsible for, is to minimize those risks in all those areas. And, we have seen it, and we've seen the results of that, and it has been positive, although we know that it's a never-ending, it's an ongoing problem, and we stay focused on trying to help the people that come in and get that good service.
I appreciate that.
One of the problems we as commissioner, when I was a commissioner, we ran into when we tried to get the, Child Crisis Center built was we protect these, juveniles so that they're not talked about, their names aren't thrown out there, so forth and so on. So when we went around to the different towns saying, we would like you to help support this, the comment was, we don't have that problem. Well, they did have that problem, but because we were protecting those children and keeping it behind closed doors, it made it invisible. So it took probably 4 years I worked on trying to get that. It took that long to convince the people that it was even there. And so in this case, where they can't just go out and talk about it, it's invisible, and so trying to ask for help for something that isn't known about, it's a catch-22, and I've often wondered, we're protecting these people, but are we doing them a disservice by not talking about it enough, or not being able to? But anyway, I think that's part of the problem, don't you, Patrick?
Yeah, it is, because of, HIPAA requirements and confidentiality, of course. There are times, we would love to be able to, praise these individuals out in public and say, look, these are success stories. I'll give you a brief example. I'm sure you're aware, because we had to come to the city council to get the, approval when we moved to the new Ohana facility that's on, Mahoney Street. That program was started approximately 13 years ago. We've had over 80 people that have gone through that program that are now reintegrated, not just in our community, but communities not only around the state, but around the country as they've gone on and moved to other places. And they have succeeded because of that program. And this is exactly what you talk about, Mayor. We can't tell you about these people in terms of names and who they are. Some of them live among you, but they are success stories nonetheless. And that's the difficulty, because if you saw that and you knew that and you knew who these people were, you would be astonished, because they've come so far. And I mean, they have, been almost destitute. We put them in these programs, and our staff works diligently with them. They see the therapist, go through the counseling. And when it's all said and done, and we transition them back into the community and they thrive, then that does a great deal. I know Judge Waldrop, former Judge Waldrop, was very appreciative of that program and was very supportive of it. And, we certainly thank him for that. But, I wish we could put those names up on a plaque so that you could see the number of people that have been through it. But yeah, it's been about approximately 80-some people that have been through that program. And I can think, actually, off the top of my head, I think we've only had maybe 3 that were not successful, that we had to put them in a higher level of care. But, but that's also, sometimes that's the decision that you have to make too, is that if those programs don't help that person, then sometimes having them in a higher level of care, and they have been, transferred to the state hospital where they are still there. So, but by and large, our programs, they're there to help those people, and they've done a fantastic job. And we have some great staff, and I think that's a testament to the hard work of the people that we have employed.
Councilman Smith?
Patrick, as you know, I've always supported mental health, services in the community as just an integral part of it. And, on occasion, I probably walked through your doors too and said, hey, I need to talk to somebody, but With that said, I want you to know that I do support that. But I do have a question about High Country Behavioral Health. Are they out of Rock Springs, or where are they out of?
Actually, our main office is in Afton. We actually have offices in Afton, Evanston, of course, a lot of the little surrounding hamlets there in the Star Valley area. Thermopolis, Pinedale, Mountain View, Rawlins, of course. Then we have, 3 offices in Idaho, Pocatello, Rexburg, and Idaho Falls.
So they're more global and more statewide than.
Yeah, we have, you know, that was, I think, just by happenstance, and due to our budget cuts, that was one of the things, that was a difficult decision, for me, actually, as the CEO of Carbon County Counseling, but I also knew with budget cuts, if we had to reduce our staff any more than we already had, it would have been a death sentence for us, and we probably would have had to close our doors. There's just no way we could have done that with that kind of budget cut. And that's when we opted to merge with High Country, and so far it's been very positive. Unfortunately, like, you know, we do have to go through additional budget cuts, and I'm sure we've been informed that this is not just for this last fiscal year, it'll be the next year too, so we're gonna get hit again. And of course, the priorities of our state legislators are changing. We know that a lot of the priority population is gonna be all tied to Department of Corrections. So that's where we have to make adjustments for that as well, but, yeah, it's always challenging, but, when you have good people that really care about those individuals, then you can make those things happen. And I've been blessed to have really good people in our office and, working for us, and now we have more resources that'll help our people, in this county, because we have, like I said, we have psychiatric care now, and that was always a challenge, but we're seeing great results with that, so it's been a positive.
Councilman Weisberg?
Yeah, you spoke of the Ohana House, right? With the budget cuts and stuff, is that gonna stay around for our community?
That is something I can't give you a definite yes or no. Actually, you know, one of the nice things, if you wanna call it nice, when you go through a budget cut, they usually allow us, or to make that determination where we want to take the funding from. And over the past years, when we have had cuts, we have tried very creatively to keep all of our funding for the Ohana facility. And that's exactly what we did this time as well. So, I will tell you that our CEO is just as adamant about that facility as I was, and we will do everything in our power to make sure that it remains intact, because it is very, positive for the community. So, and the state recognizes, those mental health beds around the state, so they work very, very hard to try to minimize the impact on the group homes and the clients that are residents there. So, I can't promise that it'll be here next year, or the year after, or the year after that, but as long as I'm involved, as long as our CEO is involved, and as long as we have good people at the state, I know that they'll, work diligently to make sure that those programs stay intact.
All right, thank you.
Okay, well, thank you, Patrick.
Well, thank you.
Appreciate
Again,
it.
thank you for giving me the time, and thank you for your continued support. We appreciate it.
Thanks for what you do. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, the next, group will be the Pet Partners of Carbon County.
Danielle, yes.
Well.
I know.
Good evening, everyone. My name is, Joey Marandino Lamb, and I am the TNR Director of Pet Partners. And this is Kelly Newsom. She is our treasurer and my right-hand woman for the TNR program. This is Daniela Radar. She runs our community assistance program. This is Tony Lamb, and he's our vice president. Linda Russell is our president, but she has fallen ill today. And she has the whole thing prepared, so bear with me. I have no idea what she was gonna say, so I'm just gonna have to wing it here. So Pet Partners basically does three things. We do help the shelter. We don't pay for the spays and neuters for the shelter for like the financials anymore, but we do, hold open houses if they request them. We do, adopt-a-thons when we're allowed, but COVID kind of shut that down because we would do them at like Baumgars and Tractor Supply, and so there for a while, they weren't really happy with having a whole bunch of us and a bunch of cats standing around, trying to get them adopted. So that kind of got shut down recently. Hopefully it'll pick up again soon. And then there was a couple of times, there were some animals that they couldn't feel the justification to pay for a surgery, so we raised the money so that that animal didn't have to be put down. We did that just a couple of times. And, sometimes they get ferals, and that's not their specialty. And so that's my specialty and Sally's specialty. And so we try to take the ferals off their hands and find them homes. But, we don't really want to do friendly cats, so then they take our friendly cats. So we have a nice little training program there with the shelter. The other thing we do that, is the TNR program, and I would just like to show you this binder. This is 1 year. There's 226 cats that we logged in this 1 year that we did. So TNR is trap, neuter, release, and it's for feral cats in the community. We mainly trap in Rollins because that's where we all live, and it's really hard to drive out to the outlying areas and trap, because you have to set the trap, go back, get the trap. And then we have a little shed where we bring the cats. It's heated, it's air conditioned, and they stay there while we wait for the vet appointment. So we're allowed so many a week based on, the vet's abilities to get us in. And they do give us quite a discount, so we're not allowed to take all their appointments, you know what I'm saying? They wanna make money too. So, that's where we keep the cats while we wait, and then as they go into the vet, and then they come back to the shed, and we let them recover. It takes a little while for them to get their bearings again. And then, if ranchers want them, we take them to ranches. If, people want them back, we send them back. So they go different places. But anyway, yeah, so we did 226, this was 2019. We average about 200 cats a year. And like I said, they mostly come out of Rollins. And we do take, if we find kittens, we do take those off the street because we all know that there is a cat problem in Rollins. And we now already have our waiting list started for this year. So we have been trapping since, we try not to in the winter, but if we have someone that will, say, watch the traps, because as you can see, I work. And, if someone will watch them in the colder weather, then I'll let them trap so that I just don't want the cats sitting out there, you know, freezing to death. That would not be cool. So we have done some that people were allowed to watch. And then, we do have a waiting list already started of people that are saying, hey, these cats need to be fixed. If they're able, we do ask for 25 donations, and if they're not able, we fix them anyway, because that's way more important than a small little donation. But we are finding that a lot of people are taking care of colonies, and they're becoming more and more responsible as they realize that we're doing this to help spay and neuter. So people are starting to call and say, hey, I've been feeding these cats, but let's get them fixed before I end up with like 100. And we actually had sent a chart in, or Linda did, with our paperwork, and, I know it's this little chart here that I'm looking at is by Spay USA. So 1 male and 1 female, plus all their offspring, assuming only 2.8 kittens survive out of each litter, and they have 2 litters a year. In the first year, they make 12 more cats. In 2 years, they make 67 more cats. In 3 years, they make 376 more cats. In 4 years, they make 2,107 cats.
Pretty successful cat farming.
And we are very lucky in Wyoming, the cats only breed in warmer weather. So I have friends that live in Florida, they have year-round cat problems. We at least have a kitten season that ends in breeding. So we are lucky that it does get colder and the cats stop breeding just for a small amount of time. I mean, that's what we do at the TNR. We're just trying to get the cat population under control that is running free. And if you drive anywhere in town, you see cats everywhere. I mean, they breed very fast, as you can tell. So, I guess that's all I have to say about the TNR. I think Daniela would like to speak on our community assistance program.
Yes, so, the community assistance program is a program we provide for people that wanna spay and neuter their animals at a discount. So we have a program set up with the vet offices where they can go into the vet, get an application, it gets sent over, to Pet Partners, we review the application and send out a coupon. And that allows them to get that discounted price for either their cat or their dog. So far this year, we have already provided 30 coupons, so that's like 10 a month that we have provided. We foresee that we could probably continue to do that for the rest of the year, and it would cost us around, depending on if it's a dog or a cat, between $5,500 to $7,800 just with this program alone. And a lot of the funding that we're requesting is for this program to keep those populations down to a minimum and to help pet owners be more responsible with their pets.
I was involved with Pet Partners for a while, and I enjoyed the meetings, and I enjoyed how fundraising. I did not enjoy going to I would have been a hoarder. I wanted to take home every one of them. At the end of that, I couldn't go play with the dogs and then leave them there. It's quite a job, and I appreciate what you do because it is a tough job. And without Pet Partners, our city would, that whole expense would fall back on the city, and we'd be swimming in dogs and cats. And I do appreciate the fact that if it's still a no-kill shelter, what an incredible accomplishment. Yeah, it's quite a deal, and it's improved a lot. Were you all around, or do you all remember the old dog pound that was up there? Oh my God, it was, I didn't even wanna go in, it was nasty. This new facility is awesome, and you guys do a great job, and, my dog got in jail one day, and we donated. Thank you for taking care of my dumb dog.
We work really well with, Leah, Kettner, and Robert. We make a great team, Pet Partners and the ACOs.
I was just gonna ask, I know that there was, a grant that was out there. I don't remember very much, and I don't remember why I don't remember why it fell, but for a while, there was a grant that you had found but the animal shelter had to actually apply for it. Do you remember any of that? Do you know, is there still, I guess my question was, are you still finding any of those, or?
Was that the one that they were gonna pay for a few months, 6 months or so? I think they were based out of Jackson. Is that the grant?
Yeah, I just remember, all I remember was that it had to be applied for through the animal shelter.
Yeah, and they wouldn't pay for ferals, so.
Is that how that ended up? Okay.
Yeah, so, at the time, our main thing was ferals. This community assistance program is fairly new, we're just getting it off the ground. So I know that grant, if that's the one we're talking about, where they were based out of Jackson, Wyoming, that was strictly for the shelter because they don't pay for ferals. That was not in their parameters, I guess. So where that fell, I'm not sure if they.
Okay. I was just gonna say, like, I can't see a reason why, if there's grants and things out there, that why we wouldn't all work together, so.
We have, tried to get several grants, but it seems like if you need to be a shelter, or you need to be in a bigger populated city, like, we always seem to fall outside of the parameters for the grants, because Linda actually pays for a subscription to this place where you can just read hundreds of thousands of grants, and she has been going through them with help, because now she's legally blind, but she says every one I look at, we just don't qualify for.
For one reason.
Yeah, for one reason or another, and we did do quite a bit of fundraising with bake sales and adopt-a-thons, and we had barbecues, and then COVID hit, and that kind of killed a lot. So we have Egg My Yard right now, and then hopefully we'll be able to do our big 2-day yard sale. That seems to bring in a lot, but a lot of our smaller things that we would do once a month, they're just non-existent right now.
Councilman Smith?
all of my pets are rescue pets, and I'm not gonna tell you how many I have. But
Harder.
I understand you're still doing the dog adoptions and things like that through the shelter, is that correct, or?
The shelter handles the dogs and dog adoptions. Our little shed is for feral cats.
Okay.
And, sometimes, like, we're helping the shelter right now because they had a little sickness and the one cat they didn't wanna put in with them. So I said, well, we'll take it for now. So we've got one of the shelter cats that's just hanging out in our shed until they make sure everything's bleached and cleaned up again. And so we do trades like that. We're not really set up for dogs at Pet Partners, so.
But we have done,
We have done occasionally, you know, we fostered a couple, me and Tony, because we live in the county, so it's a lot easier for us
I
to.
understand, Joy, that you have a lot of cats at your house.
I'm not gonna tell you how many I have either. But I live in the county, so I think I don't have to follow any city rules on that.
Well, I'm not.
don't know nothing. We've exposed a few hoarders.
Councilman Weisenberg?
For the, community assistance program, it showed, you said you already had 30 coupons this year?
That we
So,
given,
that you've given out, and you wanna sustain that through the whole year, so you're looking at 120 coupons for the whole year? And
So far, that's our trend, yeah.
okay, and that's the $5,500 to $7,800 for the whole year?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions, comments? Well, thank you all for what you do, I so appreciate it, it's a thing that's near and dear to my heart, I just can't go to the animal shelter. I'd get a divorce and 10 dogs. Yeah, I went there one time and there was this really cool white pit bull, and it was the nicest dog ever, and I just didn't think, our Chihuahua was like that, so. But it's hard to go there.
Thank you.
I appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, the next organization we'll hear from is, Project Reach Early Intervention Center and Preschool.
Good evening.
Hi.
Thanks for having me here this evening. My name is Nicole Matavia, and I am the program director at Project Reach Early Intervention Center and Preschool. Our preschool program is known as developmental preschool. We are one of 12 regions throughout the state that provide special education services to children from birth up through age 6. And those special education services could be speech language services, occupational services, counseling, special education services. And then we also provide what are called developmental screenings for children birth through age 6. And we look at their cognitive skills, social emotional skills, language skills, as well as we screen their vision and hearing. And if they're referred further, we show concern in that screening, then we provide free, developmental evaluations for those children as well. So currently, in Rollins, we serve 80 kids in the county. In Rollins, we serve 100 kids in the county. Currently, we serve 33 kids at our center, and then the rest of those kiddos that we serve are at different, preschools or daycares. And then we serve about 24 kids under the age of 3. Typically, those kids would be served in their homes, but due to COVID, they are coming to our centers right now for those services. So once kind of restrictions let up a little bit more, we will get back into the home. We have, opened up again our toddler group session, which is, held 2 Fridays a month, where it's open to anybody, in the city to come, and it's for children 18 months up until they turn 3, and they just come for an hour and explore toys, explore different sensory activities, and have an opportunity to play and sing. So those are the services that we offer at our center.
Do you know a guy by the name of Clark Burton? Is he still involved? He was my brother-in-law, and he used to be involved in this, and at one time I could have gave that speech, what you do, but he was always explaining to me the importance of Project Reach and, finding these kids with, certain learning disabilities and whatnot, and propping them up early so that they don't get behind, and, so I really appreciate
And that's our
Project Reach and
whole
what
premise,
they do.
we want to try to identify these kids earlier, so then hopefully maybe by the time they reach kindergarten age, they might not need those.
They might have been caught up.
Yeah, and you'll obviously have some kids that will have services for longer than that.
Sure.
But our goal is to try to identify them sooner so that that learning gap is not so widened when they enter into
Very
our
important.
program.
Does anybody have any questions, comments? Wow, you did a great job, you answered all of our questions. Thank you very much, we really appreciate what you do.
We appreciate your support of our program, thank you. Thank you.
I noticed on here, we're going to move the airport, Joint Powers Board to another day, is that correct?
Am I speaking to that, or?
Anybody can.
Well, I wasn't, because Jody said she was gonna talk tonight, so, I guess, rather than, there's some issues out at the airport that we need to go over as a organization, make some changes, and so Jody felt that looking at it under, I believe, other departments was the more appropriate way. So we're gonna still look at it, we're just gonna look at it in a different
day.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yep.
I understand it could be very involved. All right. So how far are we ahead of ourselves?
And I did not ask people to come early with that change, I just felt it was too confusing to call everybody, be like, come 2 minutes early, and then for all I knew, we'd be late, so
And normally we are late.
Yeah, but,
So is anybody here from the Rollins, Carbon County Chamber of Commerce yet? Or is there anybody here from the DDA?
Well, this is
Are
easy,
you-
no,
Are
thank
you
you.
gonna present?
Yes.
Okay. By yourself, or are we waiting for other people?
No, I can go now, if you need me, if you wanna be really ahead.
Well,
I can just go early. It's okay.
yeah, come on
There's
up.
the people that are gonna be here. Pam's not gonna be with us tonight, she had a cold, so she's staying home with, some soup and some Advil.
Okay.
So I'll be your presenter.
Well, if you're here and you're ready to go, let's do it.
I know you guys did have a group coming, your group is here today.
I got my group.
Come forward, ladies.
Do we get eggs or rotten apples or anything
Yeah.
for this one?
You ladies might want to sit real close to him.
Are these new mics and stuff? Cause I can hear you really well in the back.
That was the goal.
You can always hear me, but that's
What?
true. Even when I'm not yelling at you.
Honorable Mayor and Council, it's an honor to be here, pleasure to be here. Been like old home week. So for the general public, because I know all of you, my name is Steve Sanger. I am the presiding president of the Board of Directors of the Downtown Development Authority, Main Street Program from Rollins, Wyoming. Pam, as I said, normally does this. She's homesick, doing the soup and Advil thing. So I'm here to present the request for funds on behalf of the Rollins Downtown Development Authority, Rollins Main Street Program, and I'm hoping this goes well. No guarantees, just hoping. I will keep this presentation as short as possible. That's why I wrote it down. I have sat in your seats, and I know how much information you're gonna have to process over the next couple of months doing your budgeting. The Downtown Development Authority, known as the DDA locally, was established October 1991 by city ordinance approved by the city council. The ordinance established the service area of the DDA and the rules by which the DDA operates in accordance with state law. The primary function of any DDA, not just ours, is historic preservation and Main Street beautification. Beautifully maintained historic downtown areas are major attractants for tourism dollars, which in Wyoming accounts for over 20% of the total budget for the state of Wyoming. In February 2006, Rollins DDA adopted the Main Street approach and became a Main Street community as part of the statewide Wyoming Main Street Communities Program. In 2015, the Rollins DDA Main Street organization became a Great American Main Street National Award winner, the first in the Rocky Mountain region to do so, and if I'm correct, the first one on the west side of the Mississippi River, if I'm correct. We are excited this year to be celebrating 30 years as a DDA and 15 years as a Main Street community. This is a testament to the support of the city councils under which it is operated, to the multitudes of volunteers who have supported it, to the staff who maintains its excellence on a daily basis, and last and certainly not least, the downtown businesses and building owners who receive its services and support its efforts. Now, as one of those businesses in my previous days, I can guarantee that that support is something you have to have. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in your buildings, in your local communities, whether you're building a building or renovating a building, that you're not gonna know without their services. So I'm a big proponent of that. Each year, Rollins DDA Main Street strategically plans programs and projects with input from building owners, local area businesses, and the community as a whole for the area that the DDA serves. In the DDA's toolbox of resources for this process is the assistance of the City of Rollins Master and Economic Development Plans, the City Council, the DDA Master Plan, local surveys, market research, the National Main Street Center, and the Wyoming Business Council. The information from these resources is available to anyone in the community through the Rainbow Teton Entrepreneur Center located at 4th Street next to the Depot Park. Over the past 30 years, using these resources, along with a dedicated staff and outstanding volunteers, and even in a COVID year, there's been over 2,500 hours put in by the volunteers from the DDA. The DDA has provided over $5.5 million in grants and fundraising to the downtown area and through the ripple effect of local contracts for services to the greater overall community. The Rollins DDA Main Street program continues today to work on the forefront of marketing strategies with new to us programs of micro proximity advertising. Now that sounds really complex, but every single person in this room has been subject to this if you use one of these. So when you drive down a freeway and anybody does micro proximity advertising, when you enter their area and you say, I'm looking for coffee, coffee pops up on your screen, but advertising around that coffee also pops up. I go to Casper to buy something I can't find here at Home Depot. When I get near Casper, that Home Depot will pop up on my screen because they're advertising on my screen. If you go to Amazon or you use Google, you have been experiencing that. You know exactly what it is. It's a really cool thing. We are in a test before we invest mode right now. And so we're using our local restaurants, a couple of local restaurants to do this service. And in a 1 week period of time, 20,000 hits came in on phones, not from our local area. When you click through, or when you tap one of those ads, you click through, the national average, and this sounds like a small number, but remember how many hundreds of millions of these we're talking about. When you click through, the national average is 0.07%, which sounds like a small amount until you multiply it times 100 million. And Rollins, our testing systems, we click through at 0.14% or twice the national average. So it's a pretty exciting thing, and anybody can advertise, no matter what it is, you can advertise that. So, and they connect them together based upon whatever product you're searching for and whatever's related in your advertising program. This combination with other focus strategy methods and resource support available to the DDA will allow the organization to continue to maximize funding dollars to the best support of the local downtown area as well as the community as a whole. You will find your funding request in your package. You probably got it on your computer, so I'm guessing. And it remains unchanged from the previous year. I want to thank you for your time. That's my whole presentation, try to keep it short. And if you have any questions, I will attempt, probably not well, to answer them.
Councilman Weisenberg?
For, micro proximity, you said you are in the testing phase. I remember when she approached council and talked about it.
Yeah.
You said it hit 2 times national average. With those businesses that are in the volunteer phase of that for you all right now, do you know, like, if it's increased their business, income, or is it just a 20,000 hit? Have you heard of that?
Yeah, so what would have clicked through would have been, there's 29 click-throughs, that's how you get to the 0.14%. That means that 29 people have gone to that advertising for that particular restaurant. Now, I don't know if there's a way to track, or if we have data that tracks whether or not they actually go to that restaurant. I don't know if they have that.
Yeah, I heard from, like, the local businesses that
No.
said, nah, that it's helped out you, they think, they believe or not.
They see on their advertising end how many times their little quirk gets clicked on. They can see it on that end. But I don't know if it does that, or if we can track that. I think we can track that, but I'm not positive that we can or cannot.
Okay.
Is that a service that you have to be in the DDA area to?
No.
To, use?
It's available, our proximity area is from Saratoga to Wamsutter. So it works based on your phone number. So if you're local, it's not tracking a local phone number. So it doesn't track that. What it tracks is a number that is not in your local area. So as you're driving through, and I'm on my way to Wamsutter, and like I said, I want a cup of coffee, and I click on coffee places in Rollins. When I click on that, the other restaurants that are now currently participating in the program, they show up on the side. You go, you know what, I could use a cheeseburger, and you hit, bucks, and you hit their menu, it pops up, and then you're in their site. You're no longer on the site you were on, you're in their site now, and you can now go directly to their site and see what their offerings are, and you can pick any one of them. So if you have every restaurant in your area participating, then all of them are gonna show up. And it's like me searching for, at this current time, ductwork for a building I'm working on.
So, so you're in the trial phase, so there's not
Yes.
very many participants.
Right.
What's the intention to get more participants? What, have you looked at what that might look like? How would you accomplish that?
It's a cost-based environment. So as your area increases and the people using your system increases, the cost increases.
The cost increases to you?
Well,
To
we're
DDA?
funding the DDA is funding the program right now.
And the people that use it, do they pay?
I'm not certain. I'm gonna guess that there is some cost to them, but at this time, it's a test before you invest kind of system. So we're funding the testing pattern. And part of those answers may be in your packet as to the frequency and stuff of that nature. But in the Memorial Hospital of Carbon County uses the same thing. And it's funny, you would think of it as advertising for a hospital, but they have increased their customer count by 65 through this particular process, when their average was like 6. So it's working in that they're getting out into their community, or people moving through their community where it shows up. They use a different company than we do, and their cost levels are different than ours are. And it does allow them to be more locally based, because that's where their attractions are gonna come from. Whereas, what we do is more, what is driving up and down the freeway? That's what you're trying to attract, is what is on that freeway. And you're talking about winter months here, and it's still 20,000 clicks in the middle of winter.
That's a day?
That was in 1 week.
Well, but I'm just saying, that's how many cars drive by in a day.
In a day, here, 22,000, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably at least that, but,
Yeah, it's a pretty steep amount, especially in the middle of the summer during the heaviest part.
yeah, it used to be 2.4 million cars a year drove past, but I don't know what it is now. That was 10-year-old information, but the reason I'm asking is I like the fact that it can be something the whole town can use.
Absolutely, yes.
that's important to me.
Yes, and it goes outside of, we by statute have to operate inside of our area, which is from Second to Sixth Street and from Front Street to Pine. That's the area we operate inside of, but this is one of those programs that says, okay, yes, you can do this advertising, and as long as they want to advertise with you, it doesn't have to stay inside of your area.
That's important.
Yeah.
Chris, you had a question?
Well, it's just, trying to figure out, because you all do the Passion and Pride Ball also, right?
Yeah,
So I was just trying to figure out what your income off of that was for.
it varies.
And then.
In really good years, it's, 30+ thousand. And then when it's, COVID years, not at all.
Yeah.
So I just remind you that is usually bankrolled for a project, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're all dedicated, it's all dedicated money.
That's a specific.
Not to run the organization, it's
No.
like for the splash pad.
Yeah, it's always dedicated to a specific thing. So you're fundraising for a specific thing.
Yeah, Mr. Sager, would you also address in the operating budget, there's a number of things that that DDA Main Street does for the downtown, specifically for the city?
Yeah.
I think that might be of interest to us.
Well, a lot of the materials that we take care of, we have our normal operating expenditures. Our operating budget is $50,000. Of the $50,000, $38,000 of it is in direct relationship to running the DDA. Then there's about $12,000 that go with properties and parts and pieces that belong to the city. Flower pots, banners, holiday lights, restroom maintenance, stuff that normally the city would be responsible for, but the DDA takes care of under its O&M services, operation and maintenance and services. And that's that $12,000. So the total budget, about, give or take, about a quarter of it is taking care of stuff that if we didn't do it, that would become an expense that the city would have to incur.
Councilman Durst?
Well, two quick questions. This says restroom maintenance, what restrooms is that?
It'll be the ones that are at the Depot Park for the splash pad.
Oh, so this is planning ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And then what is bulb out snow removal?
When, the bump outs that have the lights on them?
Oh, on the corners?
Yeah, we take care of the snow removal on those bump outs.
Oh,
The
okay.
DDA takes care of those. So the sidewalks that are not right directly in front of a business, which becomes the business's responsibility to take care of, those bump outs would be construed as city property, and therefore they would have to be taken care of by the city.
How many people work for DDA?
Total,
Yeah,
3.
okay. And their wages total $50,000?
No, that's just their operating budget. Their wages are covered under the city's, because they're city employees.
Okay.
They're not direct, DDA employees, except for
Our part-time.
our part-time limit.
And that's under the,
That contract assistant bookkeeper, yeah, that's 13,000. That's in the operating budget. Our $50,000 budget is that, part-time person, yeah.
Okay. Councilman Weissenberg?
I know you all do a lot of fundraising and stuff like that. Are you all partnering a little bit with the, chamber to help build them at the same time too?
No. The chamber operates as its own independent thing. They're self-funded. So now if there's questions of what they can do and what we can do, there's always information that we can help them with at any time. It's just a matter of come ask, we'll answer.
Okay.
Anybody else? Thank you. Appreciate what
Very
you do.
welcome. Nobody yelled at me, I'm feeling okay.
No, that'll come later. Give me a call if you miss me.
Give me a call.
Give me a call if you miss me.
I certainly will.
I just texted you, ain't ready.
I'm getting that emotion. That's fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. All right. back up here a little bit. I see the Chamber of Commerce. Are you ready to present?
Yes, sir.
All right, come on down.
Very next one, right? Okay.
Evening all.
You might wanna use that.
Donuts and pens, and we are totally happy. Good.
There you go.
I use these pens all the time.
So I wanted to start off by thanking the council and Honorable Mayor, Mr. Terry Wycombe, for taking the time to consider the Rollins Carbon County Chamber of Commerce for this year's funding. We've been blessed to have this funding for several years and are thankful for the continued opportunity. We've had many challenges over this last year. We are very aware of a lot of the challenges that we face, but we have dug our feet in the sand and are pushing forward and making things happen. We've got a lot of good things that are happening at the chamber. Our most current thing that we're working on is bringing the chamber out of the early 2000s with our website. We've never had a digital database. All of our stuff has always been paper files. So we have started and will go live with our new website and database on April 9th. And with that database, it will have a community calendar so that all of our community events can be in one spot instead of a calendar here and a calendar there and kind of call. Anybody can submit an event. You know, we want everything on there from NAAA meetings to city council meetings, you know, fundraisers for Boys and Girls Club or their events, anybody, they don't have to be members to contribute to the community calendar. So we're really excited about that. And then, of course, we will have our own chamber event calendar in there as well, that has the things that we have going on, our fundraisers and whatnot. It will be 100 times better than the current website that we have. Has very little to no information on it. Our new website is going to have as much information as we can push into that as possible, along with the ability for our members to have a mini website inside of our website. So when people click on their business, they'll be able to either go straight to their website or just see their highlight events that they have going on. Like if St. Clair is honoring somebody for 25 years, they can put it on there and somebody can click on it and see what's going on with them, or, you know, with the city, you guys have something going on or a special meeting, we can post it within our website as well. So that's something that we've been working on that we're really excited about, and like I said, that goes live on April 9th. And then we're bringing a newcomer's guide, which we used to do the Explorer, and along the lines, we stopped producing the Explorer magazine, and the Daily Times took that over. But I feel like it's really important to have that readily available to our members, to people traveling here, to people moving here. It'll have a lot of our nonprofits, hopefully all of our nonprofits in Rollins in there, so that people know what we have available to them, along with our businesses, and anybody that wants to participate in that can pay a fee to publish in that book. And they'll be sent to Rock Springs, Laramie, Cheyenne, Casper, so that people that stop at those chambers or visitor centers can pick one up if they're gonna come stay here for a weekend, or know what we have available here in Rollins. We have a lot of new events going on. We're participating with, or partnering with the Economic Development, County Economic Development, and the Saratoga Chamber on a new learning, training program called Stepping Stones. It's available to all of the public, and we'll have it in different locations throughout the county, but we're mainly focused here, and it's from very basic, how to write a resume for kids that are just getting out of high school, that didn't get that, you know, or their parents can't help them, whatever, to, how to be productive in a workplace throughout your generations. We have a lot of different generations that are working in a workplace and, trying to teach people how to communicate with, a millennial and a baby boomer in the same workplace and how we can function as a whole. We have somebody coming in from Washington to teach that class, and we're super excited about that. We are, collaborating with the, Saratoga Chamber to do the Business Expo. They were going to start that event with a very small, just Saratoga in the Platte Valley, and we had a conversation and are expanding it to the whole, southwest region of Wyoming to get the kids and, all of the school districts involved and have the kids come over and go through and see what Carbon County has to offer to keep our kids here. Different training programs, different educational things, along with, just being able to go straight to work if college isn't something that they're looking forward to. So I'm super excited about that. We've got a few new things that we're doing, Summerfest. We've got a big event planned, and we're super excited about it. Instead of doing, our normal outhouse races, we've kind of put that one to bed. I think we've retired that event, and we're going to do a, Summerfest warrior competition. So, we're hoping to get a lot of people involved in doing that. The idea is based on like your American Ninja Warrior, to just get people involved and active, in Summerfest. So that's something that we're really excited about. And with those new events, of course, we're still trying to do all of our normal events that we do on an annual basis. And of course, the city funding, helps put all of those, above the normal. Advertising, being able to, get people involved, give prizes, do more events, be more active, and be able to do these things like the new website, the community calendar, and opening the chamber up to not just big businesses, but small businesses and individuals is something that we've tried really hard to do more towards, gearing towards a better economic development that the chamber has lacked for many years. So we've been busy, and your guys' funding definitely helps us make sure that we can keep our doors open and keep doing these things that benefit our community.
I know in the past, when the chamber was active and had events on the weekends, it did keep a lot of people in town, and then they spend their money in town instead of someplace else, and, I do appreciate a more active chamber. I look forward to your plans coming to fruition, I guess would be the word. Does anybody have any questions? Councilman Durst?
I can attest to understanding some of the challenges with doing that, so I totally get it. Like a lot of I like the ideas and everything, I'm just, one of the things that I'm kind of not hearing, what's your thoughts on, like, business outreach? As far as, I mean, in the end, right, the biggest weak link in the chamber was just pure membership and keeping that enrolled and expanding. Is there a thought on maybe trying to, like, I don't know, just tie closer, or is there like a little different model that you're kind of thinking, or
Absolutely.
is that anything kind of a clear question?
Yeah,
without...
I can put it together.
I mean, I don't mean that as a mean thing, right? I mean, it's an honest question.
Absolutely positive thing. So we did have a challenge, at the beginning of the year, which all of you guys, I'm sure, are very aware of the Henry Nicole issue. And we have fought really hard to come back from that. We do have some people that are still really skeptical about what the chamber's doing. They want to see us succeed, but we definitely need the business support to succeed. That's, we need them to network with us so that we can move forward. But we have changed a lot of the things that we're doing. When I first started, which was in August, which is not that long ago, the first thing that I noticed is that it didn't matter if you paid $80 a year or $7,000 a year, you had the same exact benefits, and they weren't really that great. So we took and every benefit that you can imagine that the chamber can do. I called all the chambers in the surrounding areas, different states, bigger cities, just to see what they were doing and the benefits that they offered. And we were able to come up with a different pricing to where if you just want a plaque on the wall that says that you're a chamber member and your name on our website with a link to your website, it's $85 a year. If you want to be super involved in every event that we do and be our top sponsor, name on the wall, in the window, all of that, it's $10,000 to $15,000 a year. And I really don't like going to the businesses and, you know, sending out the 17 letters a year saying, hey, we're having this event, do you want to sponsor it? So that was my thought in adding all of those sponsorships together in one price, was that when I come to you, I can find out what I can do to help you with your business and not ask you for money every time that we have a conversation. So we have done a lot of different price changing and reaching out to businesses, individuals, going around and talking to people. It's
hard, I know, especially after last year, right? Like,
well, and a lot of people have had bad experiences in the past with the chamber, so we're trying to do a lot of things to just show that we're here and we're positive and moving forward, and a lot of the broken promises that have been made over the past many years, is something that we're trying to get ahead of, and the things that we can do to help bring that back is, I feel, is a lot of the community events being, open, our doors open, having people call. I mean, my cell phone number is on everything. I'm always available to anybody that needs my assistance, so we're really trying hard to get our businesses back.
Councilman Weisenberg?
You had mentioned earlier, and I know firsthand about it and discussed it with you, you had mentioned with that Henry Nicole incident that went on about restructuring and bylaws and stuff, and my biggest thing was that when I hear this stuff, do you have more active board members?
Absolutely.
And how many is there now?
So I have 6 now and 2 applications in for us to review and talk about on our next board meeting. But the people that I have on my board are very active, they're involved, they wanna know what's going on. And it's just a night and day with what's going on inside the chamber. When I came on board, we had 2 board members and then Henry, so 3. And, we've managed to get it to 6, and we have 2 people wanting to come in and be a part of what the chamber's doing.
Any other questions, comments?
And I brought you guys the new brochure that we're doing, just to kind of show you guys the changes that the chamber's making. A new look, cleaner lines, transparency is something that I strive for. I think that it's really important for us to be open and honest to everybody that comes in our door. And, so I've really been trying to put that out there. If you have questions, ask. There's, you know, we have our bylaws and our minutes and everything readily available to everybody, and those will go active on our website as well. Our agendas will be posted the week before our meetings, and then our minutes will be posted the day after our meetings happen, so that people can keep track of what's going on within the chamber. I just feel like that's really important.
Anybody else? Councilman Smith?
I just have a question. In your presentation, you're requesting a budget of 10,000, but yet in the, reconciliation, the financial information, you're requesting 12.5. Is it 12.5 that you're asking for?
So I apologize for that. So I had, our bookkeeper prepare the financial part of it, and I had told her that that's what we were gonna ask for, but after everything that, and the budget cuts and all that, I just felt like asking for more funds wasn't really appropriate this time, so I was gonna ask for 10,000 this year.
So it's 10,000
10,000,
you're asking for,
yeah.
Amanda? Thank you.
And if we can move forward and do the things that we're hoping to do this year, then, asking for more funds in the future. But I feel like asking for more than we got last year at this point would not be fair to everybody else that's struggling with COVID loss as well, so.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Anybody else? I've visited with you several times, I've met with you a couple of times, and, I appreciate your your, total honesty when we have talked, and, appreciate all the work you do. And I hope your board members, stay active, because that's a real secret to the chamber. In the past, I've watched a couple of different, people, kind of go it alone, and so, the hearing that you do have board members and more interest in that is really positive.
Yeah.
So,
And I think it's just the dynamic, I mean, you can't work with people if you butt heads all the time, and of course, there's always gonna be a little bit of give and take with that, and I think that the people that we have in the chamber want to see the chamber succeed, and they're willing to put in the hours, and I'm definitely willing, and so is Angie, so we've really come strides in the last 6 months.
well, thank you, I appreciate it, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Angie.
You were different, not the first time it happened tonight.
Take that off the.
It's like the fourth time today, so.
I'm starting to think this is just Sean's joke.
Yeah. Well, we're blaming Myra, right?
I did both, they like called this morning.
Very stable. Maybe.
Took me a minute to connect that too, because I don't know. Yes. Yes, and I did. All right, last but not least, is the Wyoming Frontier Prison Old, Penn Joint Powers Board. And,
The meanest gal in the West.
yeah. Well, that kind of describes both of them. We're talking about you up here, and we're being mean.
And on the floor, and talk about you guys too.
Behind your face, or behind your back, in front of your face.
And when you get started, would you introduce everybody, because I don't know everybody that's there?
Definitely brought the whole crew, motherfucker.
Yeah.
We're getting ganged up on tonight.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get them to behave.
Like herding cats.
Again, would you introduce everybody that came with you, Tina, because I'm not sure I know everybody.
Of course. So, I have to read it, because I'll forget who they are.
Would
All right.
you read to us?
We are the Wyoming Frontier Prison Staff and Old Penn Joint Powers Board. I am Tina Hill, the Historic Site Director. With me, I have my staff, Galen Hyatt. He is our bookkeeper, office manager. I have Kalia McCuddy, who is the Friends of the Old Penn Gift Shop manager. I have my board chair, Glenna Coppola. She's been my chair for years, and I still say her name wrong. I have Lee Nation on the far side, she is my secretary, and I have Keith Miles, who is my board member. I'm also missing 3 others who couldn't make it. So there are 7 of them, and 2.5 of us. So, since 1991, the Old Penn, as we're affectionately called, has been operated by the Old Penn Joint Powers Board. The mission of the Old Penn Joint Powers Board is to preserve and operate the Wyoming Frontier Prison Historic Site for the community through its historic significance, tourism, education, and recreational opportunities for the visitors and residents of Rawlins and Hardin County. In a recent study provided by the American Association of Museums, 89% of Americans, regardless of political persuasion, believe that museums provide important economic impact back to their communities. Museums in the United States contribute nearly $50 billion annually to the nation's economy. Even though many museums operate as nonprofits, they generate $8 billion in federal taxes and $4 billion in state and local taxes. Each year, the museum sector supports 726,000 jobs. In Wyoming, the total financial impact that museums have on the economy is $198 million, with $36.7 million in federal taxes and $17.3 million in state and local taxes. The Wyoming Frontier Prison is pleased to contribute to our local economy. The last time I did the figures, we contributed about $1.7 million to Hardin County. What can we say about 2020? I'm proud of how the Wyoming Frontier Prison made it through this global pandemic. We managed to open for our full season on Memorial Day weekend as usual. We managed to keep our staff employed as usual. We had to cancel our Halloween masquerade and our Christmas bazaar, but we managed to hold our haunted Halloween night tours. We needed a second extension on our guards quarters project, but work is progressing quickly now. We survived, and our staff and our board are stronger for it. The Wyoming Frontier Prison saw 10,074 visitors in 2020, which isn't too bad for a pandemic year. However, that is 32% decrease over 2019. This is a huge negative number for us. Tour revenues are down $18,644, or 23.39% from 2019 revenues. We held our special rent-to-sell fundraiser, and we raised $3,750. We were awarded $9,000 from the Wyoming Humanities CARES grant. We are not eligible for the PPP loan, and I've tried that several times. The Old Pen participates in community events and services such as the city walking path that winds up to the prison cemetery, the Rollins Community Garden, which is located on the prison grounds, Summerfest, and the City of Rollins Cleanup Day. Old Pen staff members serve with state and local organizations such as the Colorado-Wyoming Association of Museums, the Carbon County Wyoming State Historical Society, Rollins Tourism Committee, Rollins Chamber of Commerce, Saratoga Chamber of Commerce, and of course our friends of the Old Pen. We are open for business as usual. We offer tours right now at 10:30 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday. Our numbers are down, but visitors are beginning to trickle back. We have had 2 school groups so far, which is exciting. As long as the CDC recommends it, we're still requiring cloth-based coverings for our staff and our guests. We are optimistic and excited for 2021. Our full season will begin on May 29th, when we'll be open 7 days a week and offer 8 tours each day. The 7th annual Halloween Masquerade will be held on October 22nd. This is a gathering featuring hors d'oeuvres, adult beverages, dancing, and a spooky, fabulous atmosphere on the eve of Halloween. Night tours on haunted Halloween night tours will be held on October 29th, 30th, and 31st. We will offer 33 tours over the course of these 3 nights for a frightfully good time. Our Halloween tours are one of the largest Halloween attractions in Wyoming. The Guards Quarter project will be completed by October 31st, 2021. We still have so much to look forward to and so much more to accomplish. The Old Pen Joint Powers Board is requesting $20,000 in operational funds from the City of Rollins. Prison operational funds include marketing, wage costs for tour guides, office supplies, insurance, utilities, lawn care, and ongoing repairs. While none of these needs are exciting or glamorous, they're necessary to allow the Wyoming Frontier Prison to function as the most important community and visitor resource that we are. Each year, we try to expand the services we provide for our community. The Wyoming Frontier Prison staff spends a lot of time grant writing, and we are awarded a majority of the grants we apply for. But finding operational funds is nearly impossible, so we really do need your help. The Old Pen Joint Powers Board and the Wyoming Frontier Prison staff greatly appreciate all of the support we always receive from the City of Rollins, and as always, we look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
That's my speech. Any questions?
Councilman Smith?
Gina, I'm just curious about the PPP loan. What reason did they give you for not funding you?
Because we're a joint powers board, so on paper, we belong partly to the city, partly to the county. So according to the powers that be, we're doing okay because you guys give us money.
Oh.
I'm glad you recognize that.
Yeah.
And is that state or is that,
That's the federal.
that is the federal pass-through, okay.
Yeah. And I've had Stephanie at Bank of Commerce, and I've had Mr. Thayer at Rollins National Bank, both helping me. Today, I sat through, the shuttered venue grant that's, through the SBA, and I don't think we're gonna qualify for that one either, because they want 6 seating. So even though that federal grant will help some museums, it's only gonna help museums that have 6 seating. So in Wyoming, maybe the Trails Museum in Casper, and maybe the Buffalo Bill Center are about the only two grants that are gonna qualify.
Wow.
Sorry about that. Wow.
I will tell you, I like the OPEN, the Halloween things are my favorite, cause I like scaring people, but, no, it's just fun, it's a kick, and it's just a great time of year. It's a shame you guys have had to cut back on a lot of your activities, but I do think with all the pent up anxiety people have, you might be looking at the best year ever.
Yeah.
And I hope so. It's a great, facility, it's a great asset to Rollins, and, today I had some guys from Holland with me, and they came over to look at windmills and this and that, and I took them around the county, and they were filming, and, I think you'll see them tomorrow probably, but, we parked out in front for a long time, they had a million questions about the old penitentiary, and, it wasn't on their plans. They didn't, at first I said, "Do you wanna see the old pen?" And they said, "No," and I said, "Okay," and I went by there anyway. It's my job. And, they had a lot of really interesting questions about it, and it's just a place that people, it's intriguing to look at. The movie, The Prison, as sad as that was, it was kinda cool. But, it's a great facility. And you're still actively looking for grants, although, yeah.
Constantly.
Councilman
Unless
Smith?
that's my main job anymore.
Tina, I wanted to know, I watched a show, Zach, Ghost Adventures.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get any bumps in, requests or information about the prison because of those shows? or-
Yes, and that show is an old one now.
That's all.
So, we're on we've been on three of those kind of shows. And, yeah, they do help a lot.
I thought it was well done, and I just happened across that it was amazing. But, I thought it was amazing, and the projection of Rollins, Wyoming, and the prison here, I thought was great PR. So I wanted to mention that to you.
Thank you.
These guys today asked, how long has that been closed? I said it was open when I moved here. And then it dawned on me, that's a long time ago. But when you go through there and you think about, we had work releasers, and they always talked about it. And then when you go through there, it's like, oh my God. They didn't wanna go there twice.
And we are, I was gonna say, we are optimistic this year because the Wyoming Office of Tourism is also optimistic. Wyoming has what people want right now. They want social distancing, they want wide open spaces. And so I think, on the whole, all of Wyoming is gonna do pretty good.
I believe you're right. Councilman Durst?
So, I apologize, Tina, but I have to take you to task here.
Okay.
So, on page 2, you said the Wyoming Frontier Prison saw 10,074 visitors. And on page 3 at the very end, it said over 11,074. I'm guessing it's just a typo. I was just curious which one was real.
The one I said today, because Galen and I did the numbers. Galen's my number guy. So it was 10,074.
Okay.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I wasn't really taking you to task. I was just curious. I'm sure it was a typo, right?
Well, you should have been, you were here last year. But last year, we had over 14,000.
I'm just sure people stay home. Tourism all the way around was down, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
But I really think you got a super bright future. I really, really do. Are you ready?
Yeah, we're ready. I have most of my tour guides, I'm lucky. Staffing isn't hard for me. I've been stuck around for a long time now. Leah, I think, is working on year 4. She's a newbie. But, my tour guides come back, and so they're already chomping at the bit.
Sure.
Several of them are gonna be in the play this weekend, Japan.
Any other questions for these folks? Well, thank you. Keep up the good work, and we certainly appreciate your hard work. It's not easy, and the pay's good, and,
Oh, it's phenomenal.
but, yeah, if you wanna get somebody to do something, if you get somebody that does it because they're passionate about it, it is so much better, so much more productive, and that's basically what you represent. We appreciate it. Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right. Next thing on the agenda is breakfast. I didn't get breakfast. I didn't get breakfast. We,
I give 20, you give 12.
okay, but,
This is the way our system works.
well, I can tell you as a county, what we used to do and what they do now is different. I mean, Linda will attest to that, and Linda will tell you and I don't think that changed the whole time I was there, when the city, sets our budget before the county does. And one of the things I was real particular about, and so was Linda, and so there were other people, but it seems to change, and that was, we would call the city. How much are you giving the Old Penn Joint Powers Board? How much are you giving the Airport Board? There's one other one, what was it? Anyway, all those joint powers boards, we would check and see how much the county was giving, or the city was, and then we would bust our neck to match that. And while I was there, and I think Linda can say while she was there, we matched that every time, because of that you're partners. And if your partner's putting in 10, you put in 10. And sometimes that kind of hurt, but on the other hand, it was important enough for the city to do it. So when you think about it, what's weird is you see the county and the city, and sometimes they're elected by the same people. The same exact voters, almost. 53% of them have a chance to vote for the commissioners. So I don't understand that, but I will tell you that I think if in fact we award these folks whatever we award them, I wonder if it wouldn't be good to communicate to the county that this is what we gave them, and don't say we expect you to do the same, but kind of hint that we expect you to do the same. Do you understand? Does that make sense?
Or at least open up a dialogue as far as getting their perspective.
Yeah, because they should pay the same as we do. We're partners, or mutual owners, and so I think we can.
Well, especially on like the joint powers, right? Because that's.
Right.
That's where you're even legally neck and neck on that, like.
Right.
Well, they call it.
Economic development is another one, yeah.
So I see a room full of people that really like to go home.
Well, bless
You're
your
the
heart,
majority
thank you for the
here.
hard work.
He's talking about me.
All right, this meeting is adjourned. You don't have to go home, but you can stay here.